question that was asked was, what can we do about gun violence in the United States? And of course, the question came up because of the recent shootings in the Sikh temple in Wisconsin, and then, of course, the shootings before that in Colorado. So, first, let me address the question of gun control because that also created a lot of controversy, especially after I posted on Twitter that guns did not belong in a civil society. And of course, that caused a lot of rage actually, and a lot of animosity for me on Twitter. Here's my kind of take on gun control. America has gone so far over the edge on gun ownership that we really need to look at ourselves. We need to do a bit of self-examination. How come in the United States we have 88 guns per 100 people when in Yemen, which is the closest society to us in terms of gun ownership, there are 56 guns per 100 people. In my view, only a minority of people in this country have turned gun ownership in a control, owning more and more firearms. These aren't useful weapons either for hunting or fishing. Why do you need for hunting and fishing assault weapons that can fire hundreds of rounds? And why can't we even have a simple gun control law, a modified gun control law that says that for assault rifles or anything that resembles a portable artillery gun, which is a lot of these automatic weapons are, you need much stricter licensing. Why is it that somebody can buy 6,000 rounds of ammunition over the internet, as did the Colorado killer, and get away with it legally? So I think there should be no objection to the modified gun control law if we can't outlaw guns altogether, which I know creates a lot of anger in people because they seem to think that in some way we are dishonoring the fathers, the founding fathers who created the Second Amendment. Remember, the Second Amendment was specifically created to give the militia freedom to create a free state that needed to emerge with British occupation. And so the right to bear arms and to use them was part of the militia that were created to actually get rid of oppression and ruled by a government that was no longer acceptable to the United States. Remember also that the arms in those days, the Second Amendment days, were muskets. It took a long time to load one and then aim and fire and usually miss. We didn't have the kinds of arms that we have today. Why does America have this romanticization and glamorization of violence from the Wild West days to Bonnie and Clyde to Billy the Kid, who was really a psychopath, and we have glamorized in our legends and myths both the Wild West and those psychopaths, and somehow that's become part of our culture. And we must remember that as a country we've been on a war footing. This country, the United States, my adopted country also, has been on a war footing continuously since Pearl Harbor, so since 1941. I think people who are fighting against minimal gun control are the ones who shouldn't have guns, people who get enraged on Twitter and on social networks because we start talking about gun control and start using ethnic slurs and engage in dialogue which is ethnocentric, racist, bigoted, full of hatred, vitriolic, and violence, also should not have access to guns. Here's my final take. I don't think we'll be able to convince the gun nuts, and I think they're nuts, to get rid of guns, and I don't think we'll be able to change the laws in this country, which are influenced by the NRA, and there's a lot of politing for that and power mongering for that, a lot of special interest groups for that. So I don't think we can get rid of that. What can we do? Or can we do anything? And I go back to something I heard the great sage and Indian philosopher Krishnamurti say, that the roots of violence and war exist in all of us. They exist in you, they exist in me. And each of us needs to take responsibility for our participation in the violence of the world, whether it's in thought, word, or action. And even if it is passive tolerance of violence, it's a tall order. Can you perform everyday random acts of kindness? Can you take an oath? Can I take an oath of non-violence in thought, word, and deed? Can we stop participating as individuals and take that responsibility for a peace consciousness, the kind of peace that disallows hostility in its immediate environment? Can we be the state of peace that we want to see in the world? And can there ever be a critical mass for the creation of that peace in society? I don't know the answer, and I'm only suggesting that that may be the only solution.